metaphor for what it is I do around here, pretty much. Hi everybody, welcome to the Conundrum Press 10th anniversary event.
Yeah, thanks Andy. Oh.
It's bright. Maybe that's what it was turning.
Any other way? How's that? Is that okay? I'm sorry guys, it's right
There's
in
a
my
reason.
eyes here. Yeah, the whole project of working on that first book, I think it was very hard on Andy because it was a lot of work, and we spent many nights sort of sitting in his apartment on Fairmount, drinking beer and with glue sticks and rubber stamps and X-Acto knives for scoring and stuff. And the product was absolutely beautiful. And in fact, when we did the launch, I think we had printed 50 copies and they all sold immediately. And I don't think it had anything to do with me at all. In fact, I don't think anyone who bought the books actually ever went on and read them. They were just so beautiful. So if you do get a chance to look at the copy that's sitting outside, I highly encourage you to do so because it's just a gorgeous piece of work.
Yeah, Andy let me do this chapbook even after I moved down to Greensboro, and I was really grateful because I was really lonely and missing everyone, and I talked about that in the book, and it was the same time that my favorite band that I associated with while living here, my favorite band Royal Tracks, also broke up at the same time, so I was in mourning. So this is about how I love that band and how I miss Montreal too. Okay, but I love Andy's books so much, so I'm really grateful to be here, and I can't believe it's been 10 years. Because I remember being here when it started and just going to visit Andy when he was living with Catherine Kidd on Park Street, and he'd play the new Bob Dylan CD. And just like wishing so much that he'd do my chapbooks, and he did. So that's all I ever wanted. That's all I ever wanted in life. So.
Hey, I don't know. I was sitting up there trying to think of something good and poignant to say about Andy, but basically, I really just want to say thank you for publishing my book, because people always are like, "So man, that must have been so hard to get published. Like you send it out to 1 million people and stuff and get so many rejections." But basically, no, because Andy just said yes, and it was so great to just, I don't know, like it just was the best luck of my whole life to meet Andy Brown, and so I want to say thank you so much. And that's all, and congratulations on all you have achieved.
Yeah. So I'm going to read from the Portable Conundrum, from my upcoming novel, The Whole Show. This is a part with a young protagonist. It's 1966, she's about 11, and she's discovering that she has a superpower. If she pees on stage, it's Mrs. Haversham's fault. She told her she didn't want to do this. She told her she'd do something else, anything else, make up the credit somehow. She tried everything, but no. Mrs. Haversham just said, "Angelina's doing it, Dahlia. It'll be fun for the two of you. Besides, it's required. Do you want a black mark on your permanent record, with graduation coming in a couple of years and you with such a good chance of getting into a good school? Your father would be very disappointed, Dahlia. Do you want to break your father's heart?" Dahlia doesn't, but she doesn't know why.
I had something worked out to do tonight that involved a black top hat, a white rabbit, and a conundrum, the portable conundrum. But I seem to have sort of misplaced the black top hat, and the last time I saw the rabbit, well, that's another story. So I'm going to have to skip that and just use the portable conundrum, which is a kind of a magical, iconic thing anyway. And a natural segue from that would be to mention Andy and to thank Andy for all Andy's done in the past 10 years with Conundrum Press, which is rapidly turning into one of the fine small presses in the country. And I don't know if too many of you know this, but running a small press is a license to print money. I started one of my own recently. Actually, John Paul and I did, and we're already like into our 2nd million. It's incredible. So I really want to encourage anybody who wants to make a lot of money fast and look really virtuous to boot in the arts to start a small press, really. You know, after all you leave tonight, I mean, Andy and Meg are being they're going to be carting suitcases full of $100 bills back to their duplex. It's insane. I'm going to read a short extract from The Portable Conundrum from a novel I'm working on and have been working on since time immemorial called The Journals of Irony Jack. And I apologize to those of you who may have heard part of this before, because I think I've read 2 or 3 sections from this part of it before. The protagonist is a guy called Jack Curtis, who's a rather short, mean, unpleasant, hunchbacked, misanthropic guy whose heart's in the right place, but he really isn't very lucky in life. And this is set in the year 2000, when he's a kind of a washed-up old, journalistic hack living in Montreal, and down to his last, 50 cents or $1, and he's trying to scrape up money to get wine and cigarettes. And he's sitting in a bar in the Main when suddenly this figure from the future materializes, and it's a woman from the 25th century who informs him that he's actually going to become one of the major writers of the 21st century, with 3 of the most significant novels ever written in English. Problem is, he hasn't written them yet. She's gone back a little too far, and it doesn't look likely that he is going to be able to write them, since he's, broke and alcoholic and can't write anymore anyway. So he proposes to try and get her drunk and steal her copies of his novels, and then sort of copy them out by hand. So this scene is him sitting in the bar, and this woman from the future named Imogene turns up. Imagine then, me stripped of everything, fallen lower than a snake's belly, sitting disconsolate at Viola's dance bar looking for an affordable exit from life's troubles. Imagine me smoking the second Gauloise almost to the filter and lighting the third from the glowing tip. Imagine a man who once had everything and now didn't have a pot to piss in. Imagine my 5th wife, Imogene, alighting like an angel or devil at my table, shouting greetings to me that I didn't hear because her voice hadn't followed her here yet from the 25th century, where she was employed as a literary archivist at the Irony Jack Center for the Study of 21st Century Fiction. All this I learned later, of course, and I was not to marry her for a month yet, some 300 years before she was born. I used to think of all those hundreds of years separating us whenever we were having sex, which I gloriously rediscovered along with my writing, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now, regard Irony Jack Curtis, contemptible hack at a third-rate city rag, who reached rock bottom one early winter night only to see his lucky star twinkling up above, unaware that fate was now ready to lift him up and make of him John Curtis, the early 3rd millennium's most celebrated man of letters.
And I want to say lots of good things about her, but she's good.
They'll just take over the mic here.
Blue eyes, but blindness has always worked fine for us. We have lungs, we have limbs, we have places to swim. We have all the fresh shrimp we can eat. We've got little hands and feet. We're nobody's masters, nobody's slaves. So why would we crawl out of our caves?